Thinking about buying an HVAC system in 2026? There's a couple things you need to know. Let's take a look. So, the last few years have been tough in regards to HVAC systems. Prices have gone up on HVAC systems, especially since COVID. It's been a really fluctuating type of market to be in, but things are starting to calm down. We really saw that this year and leading into next year. So if you're looking to buy an HVAC system this next year, this is really gonna be your year. We're gonna see a lot of things stabilize, and we're gonna kind of go over kind of why things are stabilizing, why we think things are stabilizing, and what we're seeing in our market, and maybe what that might mean for the market writ large. So let's start off with some good news. We think 2026 is going to be a much better year in regards to HVAC systems when it comes to replacing yours, because pricing is going to level off. We've got a couple reasons why we think that. The last several years since COVID, air conditioning issues have stemmed a lot from shipping issues. Recently, there's been tariffs. I think a lot of people, especially in our market, have been really hesitant to replace their systems just because of those issues. You might have an air conditioning system that's several weeks out. In the middle of summer, you don't want to wait several weeks to replace your air conditioning system. So they opted to repair those systems. In our market, again, in central Oklahoma, we've seen manufacturers have about 30% drop in demand for HVAC systems. So what we are predicting, that means for 2026, is we're going to see a little bit more of a stabilization in regards to pricing, because we aren't having the shipping issues that we've had in the past, especially in regards to tariffs and just the parts being available, and then those air conditioning systems that have needed to be replaced are still in existence. And so, and there's going to be the supply to meet that demand. So I think in a lot of ways for homeowners, you're going to see that reflected in better financing options in regards to replacing your air conditioning systems. It might resemble a little bit more of like buying a car. You might have better 0% financing options available for you, or your dollar may go farther. There may be a little bit more to couple with it. So those are some of the things that we can kind of look at in 2026 and say, okay, the market is having these shortages in these ways. We're going to see that kind of stabilize out a little bit more. So really where we see the rubber meeting the road is when HVAC manufacturers have a lot of supply. They're forced to become more competitive with their other suppliers to move those systems. And so what that means for you is they give us better prices, which means to the consumer, you get a better price on a system and also a more stabilized price. You're not going to see the major fluctuations that we saw in previous years. And so those prices have stabilized out. There's going to be more competitive pricing in regards to, you might get a system for a little bit cheaper than what you could in the past, because there's more competitive advantage to the consumer on that end. And what I've mentioned before, you might see better financing offers, just different manufacturers coming in with maybe a better offer than some of their competitors in regards to, hey, we'll do 0% for X amount of years, opposed to 0% for a couple months or to 1 year. And so even if your dollar you don't see a decrease in the overall price, your dollar might go farther in this coming year, just because of the kind of the supply and demand issue that we're kind of seeing right now as we move forward. That is kind of what we can kind of look forward to in 2026. More stable prices, better availability on systems, and a slow return to more normal buying levels is kind of what we're going to see. Tips for homeowners in 2026: if you are waiting around, you're going, hey, I think I really want to wait for maybe the market to kind of calm down a little bit, see if I can get the best deal. This next year is your year. This is when you're going to want to look at that new HVAC system, because the market's going to stabilize a lot. And I don't think you're not going to see any major decreases in the prices of systems. You're going to see more competitive advantage to the consumer and to the homeowner whenever it comes to purchasing an HVAC system. So get those quotes early. It could save you time and stress. I know we've got Get Quote on our website. Go check that out. Get a quote on your system. You can get it in less than 2 minutes. And we're hopeful that 2026 is going to be a smoother, more predictable year when it comes to the homeowner and purchasing HVAC equipment overall. Honestly, we've put out messages like this over the last several years, and they have not been great years. We've had shortages on equipment, we've had tariffs. It's kind of been a doom and gloom the last couple of years, but this year, honestly, is looking a lot better. I'm a lot more hopeful, a lot more optimistic, and we really just want to help you, the homeowner in our local area, to make the best decision possible so that you can make the best decision for your family. So we here at Yarbrough & Sons are super happy to be able to help in that way. We hope here at Yarbrough & Sons that you have a great rest of your day and a great new year. Have a good one.
Yarbrough and Sons, Yarbrough and Sons, the